Welcome, friends, to How to Feel Good or
How to Feel God podcast.
podcast. Okay, we are experimenting the name, so we are trying different things. So today, me and Vale, feel like we have come really kind of out of intense moments of revelations and contraction. And today we would like to, yeah, just share from this space of stillness and more like integrated process, what it means to work with patterns of the mind and the ways in which the mind gets trapped into addictions with people, with things, how these things work, the spell of romantic love, and how we project our own unresolved things into people, and then we fall in love with them, but it's actually our own projections, and this concept of limerence. So we will touch different topics all related to the addictions of the mind and this cycle of dopamine that the mind creates to stay active in the loop of victimization. This is always the topic of victimization, and how we move from victimization to freedom. So this, let's see where this goes, but we will start from that.
Beautiful, very well put.
Nice. Um, I don't know. I think I can start by just sharing the place where I am at right now with just how I feel and myself. Because this morning and these just 2 days, I just had this quantum jump, this leap into a new state, which is empty of the voice in my head that says and that repeats the story that this happened to me, and this is this person is not answering, and this is and this loop of like I was feeling I was kind of contorting in myself, and this was like crying over myself. And these days is just like, oh, it's just not there. So I'm empty. There's no pattern. There is nothing to be dramatic about. There's no drama. So I'm like, oh, okay, there's a leaf falling. Oh, there's a cat being here. Oh, maybe I have to do my website and I create my offering. Oh, now I want to dance. Oh, let's go for a walk. I'm like, oh, there's just beauty now, because that's what really is present in me right now. So I really felt this shift of like, oh, the story was creating a state of being that was not the actual truth of this moment. And once that story is gone, I'm like, oh, this is freedom. Freedom is of the present moment. And yeah, this is beautiful. And this is where I feel I'm at in this moment. I also feel like there is moments where still the addiction is there. So, for example, yesterday I was feeling good, kind of feel good, mostly the whole day. And then a moment of like stepping backward in my patterns came, and I was like, oh no, this. And I went back into the loop of thinking about that, and I was feeling, but I caught myself. I was like, what? You're going down, you're going back into the pattern. What do you do? And then fortunately we know tools, and we have tools to go back. So I went into prayer, and I started to pray, and I started to ask God for guidance and to clear the pattern and to really wash away everything that is not in the best alignment for me. And I really felt like the whole key for this is our intention, like where do we really want to go towards? Because if the intention of the heart is like, I really want to heal from this, like I don't want to be living in this victim state anymore. So if I really want that, if I really desire to change, then the change is easier. So then after the prayer, it was like, oh, okay, the pattern is there. I love also the fact that sometimes I will step back, and it will not be always like, yoo-hoo. There will be times where I will be challenged again. So having compassion for that, and also seeing that every time that I go back to the pattern, I have tools that can help me and support me in the path of reuniting with that state of peace. So yeah, that's where I'm at now, and it's
Mm,
beautiful, beautiful circle I feel of this month.
wow. Yeah. I feel like a lot of ideas from what you just shared. Like, first of all, it's like congratulations because you are now in a place that you are responding to your inner characters instead of reacting from them, right? So, like, this thought was coming into my mind that, for example, in internal family system, like in IFS,
Mhm.
uh, when we observe these things in us, we are coming from self with big S. This self is now like a witness that
Mhm.
it's in a place of actually interacting with these different parts that are coming into our equation, as is kind of a theater play, right? As a family constellation. So sometimes we don't understand that there are parts, and these parts wants to take over kind of your energy, right? And but you are in a place of awareness now that, yeah, you can listen to this thought and not identify with it, right? And you apply like the tools that you have to actually come back to consciousness. This is one thing. And then it's actually, I feel like the key also, and this is why I love IFS so much, is that it's because it's a technique, I would say, or it's a way of seeing yourself from compassion. It's a very compassionate approach to who we are, because at the end of the day, like for example, even the concept of victimhood, it can have like this connotation, this judgment, right? Like, wow, I'm behaving like a victim, or why am I falling in this pattern again? This, and that. When we're actually coming from a place of curiosity, and you can even approach it as an adventure. Also, this is something that's coming much more into my field right now. It's like when we approach these patterns that are coming with the curiosity of asking, like, oh, who is speaking right now? Like, what is this voice trying to tell me? What is this voice trying to do to me? Like curiosity, we are actually asking questions, and also seeing that maybe that part is having some fear in the background. So how it's always about fear, So how we approach how we approach someone that actually is in fear, we
Yeah.
apply compassion. Like
Mhm.
we are just applying compassion. That's the only way of like dissolving this fear is with love, and compassion is like the highest form of love. So that does not mean like compassion is both things. It's like, wow, I see you. You are afraid of something. Maybe your pattern is like it's actually such an identification with something that is a belief that the belief doesn't want to die. So it's an ego death. Like we have been talking that we're experimenting like ego death like for the past months, right? Like it just keeps happening in different layers and layers, and it's like spirals of ego death, right? And like all habits die hard. Like this is a fact of human nature, and
Wow,
so
very
but
hard.
yeah. So but like the more we apply compassion, it's like, wow, maybe there's a fear here, how I embrace it, and how I put a boundary and a
Mhm.
limit into this voice. Both things are compassionate. Like compassion is also boundary. They are not
Yeah.
in contradiction, they're in complement.
Yes.
So yes, that's and then the third thought that it came when I was listening to you is that that at the end we are wired, like our nervous system and our vital being, like our vital body is wired or is trying to feel safe. Like we're looking for safety, right? When we have come from a past recurrent experiences of pain and it became like a pattern, we're expecting that to happen all the time, right? And like there's these parts that are kind of crystallized and they have taken over identity and in the level of the psyche. So basically, when we are thinking thoughts that are negative thoughts, that, let's say, I don't know, like, oh, when you're identified, this was like coming into my equation. Like I had this belief that I finally kind of work on it and break through it, is that I cannot be met. I cannot be seen for who I am. Like I had this big belief in me, like I cannot be seen. And this was like playing some role in different levels through so many years. And I feel like now I finally saw where I was coming from, and I understood that, wow, like actually, I was creating so much drama and like experiences to confirm that I cannot be seen,
Mm-hmm.
because this part was refusing to die. So I feel like now, like I went into a process on the weekend. Maybe I will touch that later. I don't know, but like I went through like a very healing process on the weekend, and I finally understood, like, wow, I don't have any need of being seen anymore. Not as a compulsion. I still have the desire for it, but I don't have the need for it. Why? Because I finally saw myself. Like I saw where was this coming from, and I saw like what was the compulsion of being seen, right? And wow,
Well done. Wow.
it created so many. It was creating so many beliefs attached to that, and it created so many dramas and situations like throughout my life, and and yeah, like when we understand actually that everything is happening inside, like everything is like an inner theater, that it's somehow is being reflected outside. That doesn't mean like everybody is actually, like, this is also tricky. Like, not other people's behavior are not your responsibility, right? Like, people are people, they are behaving as they are. But how that resonates with you or not, this is very interesting, because that's a reflection of your own inner world. So you can use it, and I grab up the idea here, like you can use it, everything that's happening to you, with a spirit of adventure, independently, like regardless of how that is making you feel, like regardless of the emotions that that's associated with, right? So it's like, let me investigate here. Let me be curious about this. And you
Mm-hmm.
can only do that when you have curiosity and compassion. So yeah, yeah, it's beautiful to reach into that place, no? And like, yeah, I feel like more and more open to hear these stories and to share these stories, because I deeply believe that this is actually how we heal, and it has nothing to do with like rationalizing it. It has to do actually with expanding the capacity to open up your mind to see it in a different angle, but also like strengthening your nervous system to feel it all with curiosity instead of attaching meaning all the time to it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like we have been sold also the lie of how life should be. Like this aspect of also the romantic love is part of the spell of the happiness thing, of like this this kind of dimension where everything should be good and we have to control our experience of life, and if get things get too intense, then I have to control it instead of these are like when you travel, when you are in adventure, you don't know what's happening, and that's the part of it, and life is that we have taken sometimes in some cultures, and I come from Europe, so that Western culture is just like, no, you contain what can be created in this experience, so you have more control on the outcomes instead of like opening, you close, and that shapes also our
Mm,
perception of how things should be. So romantic love should be in this way. I have to get to
mm,
marry this person, then I have to do the family, and then I have to do this, and then so that is okay. So when I fall in love with someone, and usually is pattern and trauma wounding, oh, this is the love, so is the romantic love, and then it's after some point it ends, but you are stuck in the situation, and then the belief is like, but now I have to create a family, and then I have to do this, and then you have all these ideas and beliefs and patterns that don't allow you to be in the adventure, to be in the real like thrill of
Mm,
the experience of the existence, because we have all these kind of layers on our ability to be curious, to really be present. I feel it's like really this ability to be spacious and to be present with what is now, instead of coming to the present with all the other stories. So when you are present with other stories, you cannot be curious because you are seeing the reality through the layers of your belief. And that's exactly what, yeah, and then connecting to what you were saying about these survival strategies, like the only reason why we do that is because the mind wants to keep us safe. And so when we come into a situation with those beliefs, it's not that we are stupid or we are crazy or, we have to be judgmental on that. It's just like that the mind is just trying to control in the best way it can. And this this addiction of the mind of trying to recreate the story to confirm
mm,
the belief of the mind is like how the mind works.
mm,
So it's really important that we understand the theory of the mind, and it's like, okay, so the mind wants to keep us safe. The mind wants to recreate situation to confirm the belief that it has. And to confirm the belief that it has, it grasps on dopamine to recreate the sensation in the body. So I have to create situation. If my
mm,
belief is drama, I have to create a situation where there's drama, so I am safe in the mind, which is the victim mind. So it's all like ticking off the pieces and realizing like, oh wait, I can breathe in between the patterns, and I can create space and don't get into the addiction because I don't really need that. Like my mind doesn't really need that, because what is safety? So we have to
mm,
also rewire what is safety. So
mm.
it's a kind
Yeah.
of looks like a lot of work to do, but it's just like nervous system regulation actually. So
Everything at the end of the day is nervous system regulation, isn't it?
yeah.
Because we're creating all of our experiences through the nervous system. And like, I think this is something that we have come to kind of understand quite recently in history. Like
Yes.
I don't know, like maybe 20 years ago, I heard this like, oh, we're creating everything with our mind, right? Actually, we're creating everything through our vibrations, through our nervous system. And like it's
Yeah.
either your mind is helping to that configuration or it's like detrimental to that configuration. So there's also like different qualities of the mind, different layers of the mind. There's more the reptilian mind, or like the most primitive mind, that is the one always like looking for safety, right? And it also has a time and a place. But the problem is that we have been so identified that we are our mind, like we're overusing our mind so much that it has taken over our identity. So we're experimenting like bigger fears about like dropping belief system, or like changing who we are, or like leaving stuff behind, or like opening for the new. All of these things is because there's actually literally a fear of death. But why is this
Yes.
fear of death? Because there's a component of the ego that feels it's gonna die, right? So, and that's a positive thing. Like we came here actually to evolve. We come here actually to die and rebirth as many times as possible. Like that's actually the human journey, right? So, the more we actually approach with a sense of adventure and encourage this kind of little ego that we are experiencing, I think like the more we are also expanding the capacity of the nervous system to receive, to respond what life is bringing you, right? And also, I feel like it's time for us to really find a way to place our sense of safety in source, like in
Mm.
God, how we really
Yes.
develop a strong connection and a strong feeling that we're really being taken care by God. And this can sound cliche and it can sound a bit like ethereal also, right? Because what is God, or whatever? Like there's so many ways to approach it, but this is the inner world that we need to develop inside of us. Like it's like the strength to feel and to actually know, not to believe, but to know whatever happens to me, I'm gonna be fine because I'm walking with God. You know, like that's where we want to be, and that's our deepest sense of safety at the end of the day. We're living in yeah, things are accelerating, everything is changing so much. Like I feel like it's really time for us to, yeah, to get to spread and to share as much as we can, like the right skills and the right messages to strengthen our connection with source. And somehow, if you identify yourself as being a light worker, or not even these concepts, but like if you actually feel that you have a mission here, I don't know, I've been like feeling more and more, and I'm actually really proud of saying it. I feel God sending with a mission. And when I'm suffering, it's because I have forgotten. And what I need to do is actually coming back to remember that. Like, also, it's almost like this is not for me, and this is, this is for her, him, whatever, like this is suffering is an indication that you have lost your sense of purpose, that you have lost your true mission, and that you're looking for relief outside of your mission. And this is also really connected with dopamine, right? Because everything that is around, so dopamine is really interesting, and I feel like this is the thing that we really need to work, especially as a generation that's bombarded with the internet. We're bombarded with immediate satisfaction all the time. We're just like we're consuming and consuming and consuming. Are you there? You got caught.
Yes, yes, we got
Okay.
freeze for
Yes.
a moment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just saying, like, now more than ever, we really need to get out of this loop and this machine. Is it there? Oh,
Yes. Mhm.
okay. Sorry,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was a number on a spam calling me.
Mhm. No
Okay,
worries.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, from here it's
All
kind
good.
of freeze. Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, we actually need to rewire our system, our entire system, to build healthy dopamine, and we have lost
Yeah.
that. And I know as a neurodivergent person also, I had to grieve a lot, so much time that I have lost in trying to get dopamine from sources that were like looking for dopamine in the wrong sources, basically. I feel like I
Mm.
just now came to really understand that that was just like the band-aid, it's like it's a binder that you put in something that's like there's an emptiness that's like existential that I was not able to put together, right? And I feel so many times, and I feel like I don't know, majority of population, at least in our generation, we are still struggling to get out of the spell of romantic love because it's such a big one, because it generates these huge sparks of
Pure
dopamine when
dopamine.
actually it's
Yes.
just pure dopamine, yeah. When actually we're distracting ourselves from our dharma, like that doesn't mean that you cannot actually fulfill your dharma while being in a healthy partnership, while building a family. In fact, for so many people, it can be actually part of the dharma. Like, but but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it has a very different quality when it's that's what's happening. But so many people, we are trapped in the game of falling in love, and falling and getting out of love and in all this trap, and there's an entire market around it also. It's like it moves so much money, and like, and now like everybody's talking about it, and there's all this like love and relationship coaches and like all these influencers talking about it, like, and it is, I do feel it is because it's very charming, it's very enchanting because our brain
It's the
goes
perfect drama
crazy
story.
with it.
It's the perfect drama story. You can stay there forever. Like you can stay in that loop thinking that you are healing, because then there's also this pattern of like heal through relationship and this trauma and it's a karmic bond, is a karmic loop, is the twin flame, is the la 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 la, all these stories that are just stories. Because when something is authentic and real and true, whatever you call it, twin flame, divine union, whatever, mission, you are just true and honest and in it, and you build something in connection to God. Like this relationship with God has to be the
Mm,
first thing
mm,
of the, like, is a trinity. Now I understand this aspect of trinity, because you are not building something for the sake of the relationship. You are building something because you are
mm.
serving God, and together the God
Yeah.
knows that the mission is together, so it brings you together
Yes.
accomplish the mission. This is divine union. All the rest is confusion.
Hmm.
And this romantic
Yes.
love is the biggest spell of how you trap humans in not being in the mission.
Mm,
Because if we were all in the mission, heaven on earth was here already. And instead we are like, oh no, send me the message, oh no, I have to be, but he blocked me, oh I have to send la 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 la. And we are so confused about who is blocking who and why he didn't answer my message, that we are not focused on the inside and on sharing our gifts with the world. And that's a
mm,
spell to break, because people don't, if you don't spend enough time in stillness, that pattern will be too strong. Like that addiction to that kind of dopamine of the romantic love is so strong that you will be caught in that forever. I feel like if you don't really
mm,
have God first, you will be trapped forever in that, because it's so good to be lustful and to be, God. And these old tantric teachers and tantric kundalini activation masters, tantric retreat, and I'm like, guys, tantra is over. Like tantra is already old school, because tantra, what is it? It's just like you are just, everything is tantra. Life is tantra. A bird like connecting with a flower is tantra. Tantra is life. So these all things about sensuality, sexuality, intimacy, and things, there's so much layers of confusion there, because they're not really connecting to
mm,
God. It's just like another layer of manipulation without God.
mm,
So it's really important that we know how to communicate with source, with creator, with God, because then everything takes its order. It's like right relationship with things. If you are in right relationship with God, you
mm,
have right relationship with all other things, and you're kind of guided. You don't have to read a book to know about, oh, this is my twin flame or
mm,
this is my soulmate. If you know, like, God will tell you what is it. But have forgotten, like,
mm,
that's the thing. Like, that's why also in my work I do prayer, and I do prayer work and reconnecting with God and learning how to nourish your relationship with God. Because once you have that, then everything is like, you know things when that is clear. Like your relationship with God is good, everything else is good, because it's just you and God at the end in this life.
mm,
Everything else is just a reflection. And when you're good with that, everything adjusts, because it's a quantum reality. Now God is the quantum field. So when once you have clarity in the quantum field, then the external will reflect the internal. And that's it. Like at the end
mm.
is so simple that we forgot.
Yeah, and also that's also why it's been called a spell, because
Mhm.
what is a spell actually? If we think about like the um like yeah, the tales that we were told when we were kids and stuff, it's like there's a witch that goes and like kind of does this kind of black magic, and then everything changes. Like actually a spell what does is like changing your perception. Like the material world might be something, but the entire minds of people are perceiving something in a different way. So I think like the spell of romantic love is huge, and like it's like it's so layered in so many different aspects of society, and it's like I think it's one of the probably one of the like biggest markets ever also, no? It's like it
Yes.
moves so much money, and it takes away so much energy also, like it can distract you so much. And I feel like there's like a paradox there, or it's a bit like a tragic comedy kind of thing, because what are we looking for when we are actually falling in love with someone? What are we looking for when we want to love someone and be loved by someone? We're actually looking for reunion with God. Like
Yeah.
what we're eventually looking for is to feel yeah, is to the experience of being alive in love again, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can have, I think like the only way that you can have that in a healthy way with someone is when you are already embodying that within yourself. And when you're already doing that, you don't need like romantic love in that way. It might add something into your life, and it must be, yeah, it might be like beautiful, and desirable and all of that, but you're already satisfied, you're already complete. And I feel like the distractions in any way from our dharma are looking, it's like looking for love and God in the wrong places.
Yeah.
Is actually looking for that, like even any addiction. Like okay, we're talking specifically about like love addiction now, but any kind of addiction, we're trying to fill a void, like an emptiness, that there's a space within us that it's painful and needs to be filled with something, and we're thinking that it's a substance, that it's and we come into toxic patterns, and then we're hooked in the level of the body in such a strong way that then it gets like more and more and more difficult to go out of that, right? And it can be a person, like as in the romantic love way. So nothing, absolutely nothing can replace, yeah, nothing
Yeah.
replace your the feeling, the knowingness that you are in your purpose, that you're working for your purpose, and you're actually, I want to put it in that way because this also came this weekend for me. It was like, you know what? I've been a freelance like for the past, I don't know, 10 years of my life, freelance. But now I understood actually I'm not a freelance, I'm an employer of God. I want to call
Yeah.
myself that. Like,
I love it.
yes, who's your,
Absolutely.
I'm an
So
employee.
such
Like,
it
I've
feels
been
such
employed.
strong
Like,
responsibility. No? It's so
yes.
good.
And like, so your mission is actually do your work, and you're gonna get the security. You're gonna get everything that you need. Your needs gonna be covered. Like that's actually the promise. Like when you're actually doing your work,
Yes.
like
Yes.
right? But
Yes.
a worker that it's not doing their work, it's going towards other yeah, it's getting distracted. There's an alignment there to do. So yeah, I think it helps, at least for me, to put it like in kind of that metaphor.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Um, yeah, and that's actually healthy dopamine. Like there's no bigger pleasure than the one that you get when you have fulfilled a goal that you knew was in alignment.
Yes. It's
Like for example,
yes.
yeah, there's nothing greater than that. Like 3 days ago, I released my first book ever, and I can say like I feel like this is exactly the kind of love and the kind of yeah, the kind of falling in love experience that I want to expand and that I want to keep embracing, and that there's no soul bigger soul pleasure than the one that's like, wow, I put so much effort and I give all my heart into a project and it came to fruition, and now I'm able to share it with the world, and like people are starting to resonate with it, and like, and I was like, I was channeled to write this book, and it was like the work of like actually writing something that it's been like coming to me for the past 5 years, and now it's like finally there, and I'm like, it's, I cannot even describe like the soul satisfaction of that, and
Mm.
like all the other pleasures in life are kind of secondary, you know, are like, I feel like I have so much passion and
Like
my priorities
proud.
like,
You're like proud of yourself.
yeah.
Yes. And this is the best feeling because you know you're like, is this aspect for me also of obedience and disobedience, which is not something that is like if you disobey God, you are a bad person. It's just like a matter of alignment. And whenever we are disobeying God, it means that you are afraid of taking the step towards your highest potential. You are like questioning yourself,
Mm,
you are having self-doubt. So you are not like doing the thing that you know you have to do, so you distract yourself with other things. And
mm,
this void thing that we have inside, I just, when you were speaking, I was just feeling that, because where is this void coming from, right? Like we kind of all have this void when um, we separate from God at some point in our evolution. We are born united, like we are born from unity from God. We come, the soul incarnates, and then we grow up, and then we come out of the womb, and that's the first separation. But still there we are one, because we are there's consciousness that is one. And then at some point we have experiences that create the illusion to be separate from God. So
mm,
that void is that part of us that we have abandoned in order to belong, to be liked, probably because our generation and our parents was a generation that was like, they gave us a lot in terms of material reality, but they didn't have emotional capacity. So we are a
mm,
generation with this deep wound of like, I don't feel loved. Like, I
mm,
don't feel like I feel unworthy of love. I was feeling like this past month for me was working like prayer and say, God, I know that I have a belief in me that makes me feel that I am unworthy of your love. But I know that I am, because you created me and I am a child of God, and I know you love me. Please help me rewire this belief, because I know it's not true. It's created from my past experiences, and this void that we try to
mm,
feel inside is just this wound that is our self, young self, experience this like experience of like, oh, if I am myself, so I am in connection with God, I am who I am because God created me to be like this. If I am that, I am not accepted. If I am that, I am not
mm,
loved. If I am that, I will be judged. So I separate myself from that. So the whole reunion, I feel, is with that part of us that we have abandoned and that we judged as unworthy of something. And this whole reunion and of this separation is about this reconnecting with that part and say, oh, I've always been worthy of this love. It's just that I thought I wasn't, because of the education that I received, of like whatever traumas and generational things that were there. But it's like this process of reuniting that is really like coming
mm,
from past wounds. So it's there's so many, like this work is multi-layered. It's not just one aspect, I feel. And the more we talk, the more I'm like, oh, this thing and this thing and this thing and the mind and but yeah, it's really like
mm,
a long journey of reuniting with your own heart, basically. And also I feel it is important to learn how God works, like the laws of this quantum reality, which we can call the quantum, which we can call God, we can call the universe or the Akashic record, whatever is the word, it's that. When we study how it works, we learn what God is doing, what is the intention. And that's how I am learning that God loves me. Like the stories that I have in my mind about I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I will never make it, da, 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 da. What is the weight of those stories compared to the fact of how the universe works? Like when you really absorb the laws of God, then you're like, okay, so I feel it. I am unworthy, the story. But is it really true? So I check with the laws of God and I say, actually, it's not. So, how do I reconcile that part that believed that because of survival, I needed to survive? So I needed to separate myself from that version. But now it's like, okay, there's no need to be separate anymore. You are safe now. You can trust the God's law more than your own internal law that is not the real law. And sometimes this pride thing of trying to be always right and trying to always be, confirm your idea is also hard to die, because you know I was very attached to my ideas of what things should be and are. And I was trying always um how you say, like, challenge the word of God. And I was like, yes, but are you really there? I don't trust you because my version of reality is better than yours, because I have experienced this, and that. So if I experience that, it means that you don't love me. But it's just a fractal of reality. And the more I study God, the more I understand what I have interpreted not correctly. So it's very humbling, actually, to really know and study the laws of the universe. And this is physics. This is physics, the Bible. Like the Bible, I feel, is the best book about how physics, like how the universe work in the planet. And because it tells stories and it tells how humans created kingdoms and how kings lost their things, and like through stories we realize how to behave correctly, putting God in its right place. So yeah, it's fascinating, because then you basically, your ego get dissolved by the realization of the truth. And you're like, I was wrong. God loves me, actually. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to not be loved. It's only possible to resist the
Yes.
experience of being loved, actually. And it's like wherever you put your focus on, you expand that. And I feel like there's this spell of romantic love that we were been talking about, but there's a bigger thing, which is like there's the program of the victim mindset, like the victimhood. It's also like it's almost like a program in the hard drive, it's like it's an implant in our entire psyche. So even like it's funny because it kind of even can take over like our spiritual concepts, or like it can even take over the entire journey of healing, right? Like there's an identity around also that. And like I was hearing when you were speaking, of course, like we're all here like healing wounds. I know that, and like you've been doing that so much. I've been also doing that so much. But then also there was a point that we can actually be so identify with that, with the wound or with the trauma and what happened and all of that. And like we kind of have that story so ingrained already in our mind, that that thing that you actually did to heal, now it can even be like it can be using perception in
Mm-hmm.
your mind to actually that actually can be, all this energy can be used just to be here and now. Like from the question, like who am I am here and now, like why do I think that I'm still these accumulated experiences? Because I
Mm.
have a memory, but as much as I have a memory, I also have the capacity of envisioning anything. So why am I getting still attached into seeing what happened to explain what is now, when I can actually decide? I can decide, like, nothing that what happened to me makes me who I am. I can actually decide it. Yes, in certain way, of course, like, it will have an imprint on you, but an
Mm.
imprint is just an imprint. It's almost like actually our DNA works in that way. Like our genes are, it can be like they're all latent, no? Like the dormant, like some DNA, like we can have like DNA activation through certain conditions around
Mm.
us, and through willpower also we can activate certain parts of it. So nothing is really determined in that way. Everything is like super dynamic actually. So it's about, we have the power of playing with our perception, where we put the focus on. So what if we actually erase, I don't know, like for many people maybe they are not in that stage of the life, and it's completely also fine, but I feel like I just want to erase the concept of wound and trauma even from my vocabulary, like
Yeah.
acting as there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's only, and at the end of the day, if you believe that, this is also something that it was like super, it's been super alive in me lately, is that we're living in a matrix that is made out of one main energy. I feel like it's actually made out of love. It's
Mm.
everything in this matrix is about love. Now it gets really distorted. It gets really confused until the point that at the other side of the timeline, there's like suffering and pain and abuse and everything that's like the opposite of love. So
Mm.
how you can disentangle this distortion of that main energy? You don't need to do anything with your mind. You need to sit in the knowingness that you are loved, that you love, and that you are love. It's an identity manifestation that you need to do. Like, I am love, right? Because even like the belief that I am worthy or not worthy, that doesn't have even a place when you're sitting in the knowingness that you are love. So how can we
Yeah.
reach
Yeah.
there like directly?
Yeah. The thing is, for I think for some people is this, because when we use these words like love, freedom, unity,
Mm,
like, like for me, I have an interpretation, and for me love is that,
mm,
but for you something else, and we have like 1,200,000 millions interpretations depending on what you lived. So when I say I am love, it can be very far from someone that maybe is experiencing love as abuse, right? So because they have a
mm,
abusive parents and abusive relationship, and for them love is suffering. So when you say I am
mm.
love, they're like, what do you mean? you know so I feel
Yeah.
it's that deconstruction of patterns, and getting closer and closer with the words that more represent in that moment our ability to reconnect um, with that feeling. Is a feeling, right? Is an essence
Mm,
at the end. And language is the way in which we move closer or more far to a reality. Language shapes the truth. I mean, doesn't shape the truth. It just shapes what we live because it gives meaning to something. So it's like a delicate dance. I feel this about definitions and words, and really like, because
yeah.
for example affirmations, when we are like, yes, just say your affirmations and everything will be right. But if you are inside of you, you are in torment. And then you're like, oh no, but I have to repeat, I am a child of God. I am worthy of abundance. But if you don't believe it, it will not work. So I feel it's like a very sensitive work to do with all these aspects that we have touched. Is like depending on where we are at in our journey, some things may work and some things may not work. So yeah, it's really important to just be very honest, I feel, at the end with ourselves and really check in and say where I am at, how do I feel, and nervous system, like how am I allowing this feeling to just be present in me, and I am having the courage enough to let it be there as exactly as it is.
Mm.
And so from there you expand and love. What is it? Love is acceptance, is expansion, and an ability to accept whatever is there.
Yes.
So you learn what love is by accepting who you are. And yeah, it's a beautiful journey. It's like, wow, I'm like
Definitely. I mean, I totally agree on like there's love is this very tricky concept that they might have like 1,000 definitions, and it has different layers also. Like, for example, falling in love and the feeling of love is not the same as the verb. Like love for me is like a verb, it's a practice. And yeah, it's like something that you are because you are, you do and you practice. And then because you practice and you do, you feel it, right? So it's kind of also like a trinity. Anyway, but that's like maybe this is another episode because if we're gonna talk about love, like, oh my God, this can go anywhere. But
yes.
um,
Yeah, I
yes.
think we have touched many things already today. It's a beautiful journey. The more we speak, it's like everything is connected at the end. So sometimes we just start with something and then we connect and then we do the circle and like, oh yeah, this and this and that. But yeah, I feel like also having as reference the experience in the body, like both of us, we work both with the body and the somatic experience and processing things in the body, because the body, I feel, is the mirror to truth. And whatever the body is experiencing in the moment is where you're at in your journey of reunion with God or whatever is. And being like learning to be with yourself, with your emotions, with whatever. I feel stuck here, I feel stiffness here, I feel this anxiety wave here. It's
Mhm.
like when we learn to stay in the body, then we are kind of in the path. We cannot be wrong, and just being there and learning to drop this attention from the mind, addiction, dopamine, where we
Yeah.
start with the podcast, like, okay, we are here, how can we drop and stay here and stay
Mhm.
with what is. So maybe next time we can also talk about this, like how do we stay in the body.
Embodiment.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, yeah, like, yeah, we can talk about that because it's true. Like, we have an addiction to give everything meaning. We have an addiction to give everything interpretation. We have an addiction to like what
Understand.
makes us actually, our human minds are just telling stories all the time. Very short stories, very long stories, very simple stories, or very intricate ones, but we're actually naturally storytellers. And sometimes we don't recognize when we're doing it, and it's not required. Sometimes feelings are just meant to be felt and not assign any meaning on them. And actually, the biggest favor that we can do is just move whatever energy we're having and being the witness of that without having even to put any label on it, right? Like any word on it. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of a different kind of bravery also, because this is
Oh
actually
yeah.
approaching yourself with curiosity and yeah, and like
And true love.
yeah, losing the control of the mind at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Amazing. Thank you so much, Vale, for
Mm,
sharing all your beauty and experience with me and with us. So nice to have these conversations.
Thank
I don't
you. Yeah, me too. Thank you so much also for this episode 3 that we are co-creating, and whoever is in the other side, thank you also if you reach until this point. Thank you also for listening and for receiving. And yeah, if you want to for us to talk about any topic in particular, or if you have any suggestions or any commentaries or any critiques or whatever, just like leave us some comments. And yeah, we will see you in the next episode.
Yes. See you soon. Thank you for tuning in. Besitos. Gracias.
Mm, chao, besos. Gracias.